Hello, everyone. It is Coach Shalise, and you are tapped into Better Minds, Better Business, where we try to better your mind for your business. Today's episode is the follow-up to the PPP Loan Forgiveness video that we did, I want to say a little while ago. It was well received. However, we received a lot of questions. How do I fill out this form? It's a little confusing for me. So this episode, we will go over how to fill out that form. Just keep in mind, our focus will be small businesses, entrepreneurs, self-employed. We will touch on a little bit for our corporations and our LLCs, okay? I need you to hopefully print out the 3508 form like I told you at the sba.gov website. You can print that application out so that you can follow along with us. Gather your documents, your payroll documents, your accounts payable, everything you need that we talked about in the last video. Remember, gather those documents, all of your expenses, your lease agreement, your mortgage statements. All of these things you're going to need. You're also going to need, make sure that you have those things for your cover period. And we'll talk about that cover period. You should know what that is. When did your loan get dispersed? From that period forward. And we're also going to need a quarter before that. So gather all of your payroll information and all of your expenses, and let's get started. Okay. Now you have everything. Everything is gathered up. You have everything that you need. You have everything, your pen, your paper, and your notes, and we are ready. Okay, now, you see this? This is the 3508 form. So, the top of the document, simple, right? We just want to make sure that you get it down. We just want to make sure that the information that you're putting in here is accurate. Because one mistake can send your application back, and we don't want that. Do we want that? No, we don't want that. We don't want that at all. Okay. So, let's get started. First section. Simple peasy easy. Let's go over it. Please believe me. Ow! In the business legal name section, if you are self-employed, you would put your government name there. For example, John Smith. If you are a small business with a DBA, doing business as, you would also put your government name there. Example, John Smith. If you are an LLC or corporation, you would put your LLC or corporation name in this section. In the next box over, DBA or trade name, you would then put your DBA, your doing business as name. John Tax Service, right there. If you're a corporation, you would not put anything unless you have a subsidiary business that you receive these funds for. The business address section is self-explanatory. You would put your business address. Make sure that business address is the same business address that you utilized on your Form 2483 when obtaining your PPP loan. The business tax ID number or the EIN number, Social Security number or ITIN number. If you are without an EIN number, a small business without an EIN number, you would put your Social Security number. If you are self-employed, you would also put your Social Security number. If you are a corporation or LLC, you would put your EIN number in this section. Business phone, that is self-explanatory. You would put your business phone number in this section. Primary contact. This is most important for my corporations and LLCs.
because in your business legal name, it will be your corporation's name. So your primary contact would either be your CEO or whomever is in charge of handling your 3508 form. You would also add the email address, the contact email address for your primary contact. Now, in the NAICS code section, or the NAICS code, this is your business code. This code is given to you by the IRS. So if you are doing business in the retail, you would have a retail NAICS number. If you are doing business in the automotive, you would have that number. If you did not utilize this number on your original application, they do want this number on the 3508 form. So you would have had to utilize this when filing your taxes. So whatever NAICS number that you utilize on your tax return, you would then put it here. If you are not sure, you could also look this number up, this code. It is a code, but you can look this number up as well.
Okay, great. Now we know what we have at the top. Government name, if you are a DBA, and your DBA goes in the other section, right? In our LLCs, in our corporations, we know to put our name in our borrower section, okay? We went over all that. I hope that was clear for you. If not, rewind if you have to. And remember to like and subscribe on this video. Now, the next section that we're going to go to, you're going to need your loan documents. So get out all of your loan documents. Let's pull out all of the loan documents, okay? Because we want all of these things from your loan document onto this document. Let's get started for this section.
Now, for the next section, you can only check one as you see. If this 3508 forgiveness is for your first draw, you would check first draw. If it's for your second draw, you will check second draw. We're going to assume this is your first draw. So we're going to check first draw, PPP loan, okay? You will then, where it says SBA PPP loan number, you will put that loan number. Most of this information you can get from your loan documents, okay? If you do not see the SBA PPP loan number, contact your lender. So you will then put your lender PPP loan number. This is the number that's given to you by the lender. If you received your funds from Wells Fargo, Chase, whichever entity provided you your PPP loan, they also provided you a loan number. You will put that number there. Next section, self-explanatory, PPP loan amount. Okay? Now, PPP loan disbursement date. This date is extremely critical because this will determine your loan period, okay? Because you have an 8-week or a 24-week loan period, and we'll go over that. That will be your choice, and we'll have that in the next section. So your PPP loan disbursement date. What date did they disperse the funds into your account? If you had an increase, you would add that amount of your increase there in the date of that increase as well, okay? Employees at the time of your loan application. How many employees did you have at the time of your loan application when you initially applied for your PPP loan? If you had 0 employees, you would put 0. If you had 1 employee, you would put 1 employee. And this is extremely critical when we get down to the PPP forgiveness worksheets, the Schedule A worksheet, okay? So, and the next is the employees at the time of forgiveness application. How many employees do you have at the time that we are submitting this application, or during that period, for the period of that application, this application, okay? Now we're coming down to the covered period. Like I explained to you, this is extremely important. That covered period, believe it or not, is selected by the borrower. You have a 8-week loan period or a 24-week covered period. I'm sorry, I said loan period. Covered period. You have an 8-week covered period or a 24-week covered period. How that works is from the date of your disbursement. So your covered period, the first line, that will be the date that the funds was dispersed into your account. The date that the funds was dispersed into your account. Next, on the second line, 2 would be 8 weeks from that date or 24 weeks from that date. Okay? So 8 weeks from that date or 24 weeks from that date. That is a date that you would choose, okay? If your funds were dispersed April 20th, you picked a 24-week loan period. Your covered period will be April 20th to September 28th, okay? So that will be the 24-week loan period for that.
Okay, now, got that all out the way? SBA loan number, got that. Lender number, got that. Amount, got that. Number of employees, we got that. Our cover period, remember, 8 weeks, 24 weeks. What are you choosing, the 8-week or the 24-week? That's important and critical to the rest of the application that we're getting ready to do. Now, I know you see this section, forgiveness amount calculation. That's what you want to get to, right? Forgiveness amount calculation. Can't get to that point right now. No. Because if you read on the first line, my dear, you see what the first line says. Enter from PPP Schedule A, line 10. I do believe that's what it says, right? PPP Schedule A, line 10. That means there's another form that you have to fill out before that. Yes, the PPP Schedule A form needs to be completely filled out before you can even begin this section. So let's truck on over to that part of the form. Let's do it. Okay, now we are parked at the PPP Schedule A form. However, still can't do this form because we need the PPP Schedule A worksheet. So let's pull out that worksheet. We're going to get that Schedule A worksheet going. Right here is where you're going to need your payroll documentation. Okay? You're going to need your payroll documentation for your covered period. And you're going to need your payroll documentation for a period prior to your covered period. Keep in mind, if you didn't have payroll prior to, if you did not have employees before your covered period, don't worry about it. You have nothing to worry about. But if you did, just gather it and we're going to show you what you need to do. Now let's get started on working out this PPP Schedule A worksheet. Once we get this going, it's going to be simple for you, easy to do, and getting you that money back. Let's go.
So, the PPP Schedule A worksheet. This is where you're going to list your employees in table 1. Your employees that's making less than $100,000 per year. Okay? Less than $100,000 per year. So we're going to jump right into it. So what you would do is where it says employee's name, you will enter your employees. You will enter your employees only. You will not enter yourself. That is a separate section for self-employed entrepreneurs. You will not enter yourself in this section. only employees that you have hired to help you with your business, okay? During your covered period. We're just entering the employees from your covered period. So like I said, we're going to make the example from April 20th. We have employees April 20th. So in that section for employees, you're going to enter your employee's name. For example, Zach Smith, right? Zach Smith. Where it says employee identifier, that is the last 4 digits of your employee's social security number. Okay? Employee identifier, last 4 digits of the employee's social security number. Where it says cash compensation, you're going to enter the amount that was paid to this employee for the covered period, okay, from April 20th, 2020 to September 28th, 2020, we're going to enter how much we paid Zach Smith, okay? So you could get this information off your payroll records. We want to start with the date of disbursement. From the date of disbursement to your covered period. And we're going based off a 24-week covered period. So right here, we have $14,400 is what we paid Zach Smith, for example. In your next section, the average FTE. Now, there's a calculation to get this, but I'm going to simplify it for you. The average full-time equivalency. So, if your employee, Zach Smith, worked 40 hours per week on average during this pay period, you would put 1.0. If Zach Smith worked on average 40 hours per week, you would put 1.0. If Zach Smith was part-time, you would put 0.5. Okay? So, that's how you would do that. Now, the salary and hourly wage reduction. This is only if Zach was a current employee of yours. If Zach was a current employee and his hours were reduced, he was originally full-time, then there's another portion of the worksheet that you would need to fill out, and we'll go over that.
Don't be alarmed. The salary hourly wage reduction is not as complicated as it seems, okay? It's fairly simple, quite simple. Let's start by this. If you did not have employees before your cover period, 0. If your employees were full-time before the cover period and are full-time during the cover period, 0. If your employees were part-time before the cover period and now they are full-time during the cover period, 0. Okay? Now, you may start paying them more. So then you could do this mathematic. Or you may have started to pay them less. Either way, simple. But we're going to show you how to get to that number. And the reason why it's going to be 0, because you're going to show them that during that cover period, you maintain 75% or more than you did in the previous cover period. That's what this is all about, truly. Truly what this is all. The PPP loan is about payroll, of course. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. It's really easy. Follow along. Get your pen, get your paper.
We're going to say that we hired Zach on March 4th. Remember, our cover period starts April 20th. We hired Zach on March 4th. At that time, we had Zach as part-time. His total wages, $2,025, okay? So in this, on B, we're going to enter $2,025. So what we would do at this point is we're going to take $14,400 and divide that by the $2,025 that we paid him before we received our loan. That comes out to 7.11%. Now, anything above 0.75%, you would put a 0 in the salary reduction. Okay? You would put a 0 in the salary reduction. You have employees that were full-time that were still reduced down to part-time, you will have to go further into the application, okay? So in your PPP Schedule A worksheet, it will say employee name, Zach Smith, employee identifier number, last 4 digits of the social. The cash compensation, we know is $14,400. The average full-time equivalency, Zach was a full-time employee. He's going to be 1.0, and his salary and hourly wage reduction is 0. Okay, so we're going to do this for all of our employees. We'll put all of your employees here, and in your cash compensation, you will then tally up that number, put it in box 1. Your average FTE, you will total up all of them, and you will put that number at the bottom. So if you have your salary, hourly wage reductions, they should all be 0 unless you had to go further into the application. We're going to do this for our small businesses, and we're going to assume that you maintain your full-time employees, okay? Now, table 2. Table 2, you will pretty much do the exact same thing. Table 2 is for your employees that made more than $100,000 per year. This is not your officers. This is still not the CEO, and this is not for the self-employed. This is for employees that made more than $100,000 a year. So same thing, employee name, simple, employee identifier, last 4, the actual compensation, and their average full-time equivalency to that compensation, okay? Simple as that. So now you have the PPP Schedule A worksheet done.
Told you. It was easy. Okay, so now you got all that done. Now look at our mock form. You're going to tally up, name all your employees, last 4 digits of the social security number, 1.0 if they were full-time, 0.5 if they were part-time. Simple as that. The FTE ratio, tally up all of their compensation for the covered period. That's what you're doing. So in box 1, you're going to take all of your employees and you're going to total it. Okay? Then we're going to go to box 2 for the average FTE. Now, if everybody, and you've had 4 employees, all 4 are 1.0. 4, right? If you had 2 employees that are 1.0 and 2 employees, that's 5.5. That is 3, okay? Because the 2.5s equal a 1, and the ones and ones, there you go. There you have it. Simple as that. And the reduction, we realized what we were earning 0 in the reduction, and if you had some other things, there's more to the document, and if you need the Better Minds, Better Business, tap in, click the link, or go to www.bettermindsbetterbusiness.com, and we can help you out there. Not a problem. Click the link in the bio. Okay, now we're going to move on, because now time for the fun part. It is time to fill out that Schedule A. We're moving closer to our forgiveness. Let's go. Okay. Now we have our PPP Schedule A. We've done the worksheet, so we know how to fill this form out, okay? So now we're getting ready to go through the form. Now let's follow the form. Follow along with the form. Pull the form out. Fill it out the way you should. We're filling it out with our little mock company. But what we want you to do is fill in the numbers. Fill in the numbers. If you have those numbers, if you have those expenses, let's start filling out those numbers and just let's follow the formula and see if it works for you. We want you to get this form filled out. It is August, baby, 2021. It is time to get this done, or you're going to owe some money. I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, now we're going to work on the PPP Schedule A. And like I said, you're going to need that worksheet that we just worked on. So on line 1, you're going to enter the cash compensation that we tallied up from box 1 on the PPP Schedule A worksheet, okay? In table 1 only, not table 2. This is only going to be table 1 only. So from my example that you've seen from all of my employees for my worksheet, it came out to $50,400, okay? And from all my employees, line 2, it says enter the average FTE from box 2 from what you tallied up. Mine's was 4.0. Okay, I had 4 full-time employees, so my FTE in box 2 will be 4.0. The line 3, I did not have any salary or hourly reduction. As you can see, we came up. We were over the 75% mark with all of our employees. Therefore, we can check the box below in line 3, as you see the box. And then on the line, we would enter 0, just like we did next to our employees. We would enter 0, okay? Now, the PPP Schedule A worksheet table 2 is where you would enter your highest paid, highest compensated employees, okay? So we did not have any because we are a small business. So line 4, just like you did in the first section, you would tally up all of your highest paid employees and you would enter that there in the FTE as well. So we do not have any, so we will be entering 0. Now, let's go to our non-cash compensation payroll costs during the covered period only. Line 6, we would enter insurance. Did we pay any insurance, contribute to any dental, life, vision, etc.? We are a small business, so I am going to put 0 here. If you contributed anything to that, you will put that amount there, which you should be able to get from your payroll or insurance company. Retirement plans on line 7. Line 7, if you contributed to any 401ks, any type of retirement plans that you offer for your employees, you would enter that there, okay? Line 8, employee state taxes. This is where you will enter your employee state taxes. We're going to put $3,560. For example, this is unemployment insurance, etc. Do not enter the tax amounts that was taken from employees. This is not where that amount goes. This is only employer contributions, okay? So we just threw a jive number in there of $3,560. Okay, so now the next section that I'm sure all of our self-employed and CEOs have been waiting to get to, the compensation to the owners. This is owner compensation. So if you are self-employed, you would put this compensation here. Now, keep in mind, you can only apply for $20,833, and that's based on $100,000 annual salary. Okay, so they only want to give you 25% of this. This is based on your annual salary. Okay, so they're only going to give you a small portion of this. This is only 2.5 months equivalent of $100,000 per year salary. So it will be $20,833. And that's for all of the compensated owners. Now, if you had 6 owners, that will be $20,833 times 6. But we're going with 1 owner. Okay, so on line 10, you will now tally up lines 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You will put all those lines together. All of our lines together is 74,793. Okay? Okay. So now, the next section is the FTE reduction calculation. We're good here. So all we need to do, that means that we did not reduce any employees. We kept them all full-time, or we hired new employees. So what we would do is we will check this box where it says no reduction in employees or average paid hours. We would check that box. We will skip line 11 and 12. And on line 13, we would add 1.0. Okay, and that will finish filling out the PPP Schedule A. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the application, get it all knocked out, because those were the 2 most important things that you needed to do in order to finish the rest.
Woo! Okay, we got that filled out. The PPP Schedule A is done. Now, if we have the PPP Schedule A, now we can find out what our forgiveness calculation is. That is the fun part. That's what we're here for. But have a little bit of bad news. You may not be 100% forgiven. Most of it. But you may have to pay some of it back. But hey, some is better than none, right? And that's not because of our calculations. That's because that's the PPP loan, okay? All right, read this fine print in your documents, in your loan documents, okay? But we about to get you the bulk of your money back right now. You ready? I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. Let's fill out this form. Let's get started and it started and...
Okay, now this is the part that I'm sure you guys all been waiting for. The forgiveness amount calculation. Payroll and non-payroll costs. So let's start off with line 1. You're going to enter the amount from the PPP Schedule A, line 10. Okay? You see our amount in there for our fictitious name that we came up with in our numbers, which is $74,793. Okay? Your line 2 will be business mortgage interest payment. So if you own your business, you actually own that property, that mortgage payment. Now keep in mind, everything that they're asking you for have to have incurred before February 15th, 2020. So if you did not incur this business or this mortgage before this day, you cannot utilize the receipts or mortgage interest for that. So we did not have a mortgage interest, so we're renters, so we're going to put 0. Okay, so on line 3, you want to enter your rent payments. We had our business prior to February the 15th, 2020. So we're going to be able to enter our rent payments for the covered period. So we're going to put a fictitious number of $6,000. Okay. If you did not have a lease agreement dated prior to February 15, 2020, that line amount would be 0. Okay. On line 4, enter your utility payments incurred during the covered period. Same thing, all of your utilities have to have began before February 15th. You see our amount, we've entered our amount there. Line 5, you would enter your covered operating expenditures paid out incurred during the covered period. Now you notice on line 5, they do not specify February 15th. So any expenditures that you incurred during this period please enter that amount there, okay? So our period is April 20th, which is the date that our funds was dispersed, with a 24-week covered period, which going to land us in September 28th. Okay, so in line 6, if you had any property damage that happened during that covered period that you had to cover, you're going to put that amount there. Our amount was 0. 7, enter the amount of suppliers if you had vendors that you had to pay, production, things like that, invoices that you had to pay from other vendors. You would enter those things there, and as you can see, there's no stipulation of prior to date. Line 8, you would enter your workers' protection expenditures, your workers' comp, etc. How much did you pay there? Okay, so now we're going to move into the next section of this, which is line 9, our FTE, or full-time equivalency adjustments and salary reduction section. So on line 9, you're going to enter your total salary reductions, and you're going to get this from your Schedule A, line 3. Like I said, we maintained full-time employees, or we turned part-time employees to full-time, or we hired during the covered period. So therefore, our line 9 would be 0. We have no adjustments. If you have adjustments, that number would be different. Okay, so on line 10, you want to sum up the amounts from line 1 through 8. Okay, so that is everything. This is your rent, your expenditures. This is everything here. So you want to take line 10 and you want to total up 1 through 8. Okay, and then you want to subtract line 9. So you want to tally up 1 through 8, and then you're going to subtract line 9. Our line 9 is a 0. So there's no subtraction there. If you have an amount there, you will subtract that amount, okay? So line 11, FTE reduction quotient. You're going to enter what you put on your PPP Schedule A, line 13, which ours was a 1.0 because we maintain that full-time equivalency, all right? Okay, so now line 13, what you want to do is enter your PPP loan amount. You want to take that same PPP loan amount that you put at the top of your form, and you want to put that down here on line 13. Okay, so remember, you have to have 60% payroll. So what we want to do now is we're going to take the PPP, the payroll cost from line 1, and we're going to divide that by 60.60. Divide that by 60%. You're going to take your line 1 and divide that by 60%. Okay? That's what you want to do on line 14. So, and on line 15, you're going to enter the smallest amount from 12, 13, and 14. 12, 13, and 14, and you're going to enter that there. This will be your forgiveness amount. Keep in mind, you may not receive 100% forgiveness of your loan. Okay? So you're going to take whatever the smallest amount is from either line 12, 13, or 14, and you're going to enter that number on line 15.
Okay. Now you see how that work? The chunk of the money will come back. It's not like I'm going to have to pay all of it. Like, that's a little bit of nothing compared to what we mocked that we borrowed. Don't that look good? I believe like I only have to pay about like $20,000 back. That's amazing, okay? Being able to stay in business and only have to pay a very small portion. I believe that's like 20%. Child buy. Okay, so the rest of the application is very simple. Okay, these are demographics. These are optional. You do not have to answer these questions if you don't want. They are simply optional. You will initial anything and everything that you agree on the rest of the application, and then you will sign the application. So you will do your demographics, then you will sign your application. Then you will gather your application up, nice and neat, attached with all of the documents that we told you that you need, and you will present them to your lender. And then say, thank you. I'm relieved. No stress, no stress. I've been forgiven. I tried it. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe. Better Minds, Better Business with Coach Shalise. All the time. If you like, if you learned, if you loved, let us know. Leave a comment. If you have any questions or concerns, let us know and we will help you. And if you need additional assistance, please, bettermindsbetterbusiness.com, and feel free to grab any service of ours that you like. And just keep in mind, it's a great time. Okay. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Better Minds, Better Business, where we make your mind better for your business. Have a great one.